Ouch! Three-pointer!
Neverdead is a third-person shooter slash hack-and-slash game made by Rebellion Developments and published by Konami in 2012, with a soundtrack made by fucking Megadeth. However, the game came out to a very negative reception. Several complaints about the lack of enemy variety, every level being the same, and a bunch of weird anal fixated comments plagued the reviews. 2 out of 10, Jim Sterling. 3 out of 10, IGN. How bad can this game possibly be? And look at this. It's barely even rated a few points above Sonic 06. Side note, why the hell isn't Sonic lower rated? Now, I'd never even heard about this game until a month or so ago, when I saw a YouTube video about it, and I figured, this game looks alright. And it's kinda cheap, might as well buy it. And well, here we are. Looks like I'm gonna need some soul love to get through this one. Let's take a look at Neverdead and see if these professional critics were right. Neverdead's protagonist is Bryce Boltzmann, a demon slayer from way back who got cursed with immortality after attempting to kill the king of demons with machine guns 500 years ago. Yeah, I don't know either. Add a pinch of tragic backstory, which I won't spoil, and we have ourselves a protagonist. Fast forward to the present day and he's still a demon slayer, working for NADA, meaning the National Anti-Demon Agency, where his immortality comes in handy. Together with his partner Arcadia, they take out demons to keep the city safe, mostly by shooting and slashing everything, including buildings. Every enemy you fight in this game is a demon, and you kill demons by either shooting, slashing them with your sword, or using the environments to do the job for you. Now, early on in the game, the guns you have kinda suck, so the sword was my go-to weapon most of the time. The sword controls exactly like Blade mode in Metal Gear Rising, minus the slow-mo of course. The game even has destructible environments. And yes, this game is made by Konami, and made during the time Rising was stuck in development hell, so I think they may have borrowed a few ideas. You do pick up better guns in the later stages though, making shooting more effective, and unlike most games in which you shoot, Neverdead has you using 2 guns, 1 gun in each hand. This isn't really all that special, but it means that you can have, say, a rocket launcher in your left hand and an SMG in your right hand, which means less time switching. Plus, you can always throw one of your arms across the room or into a boss's mouth and keep on firing.
My left arm?
Bryce's immortality also comes with a few abilities. As I just said, he can rip an arm off and throw it into enemies. He can also do the same with his head, which helps him go through small spaces such as vents and holes, and he can use his body as an electrical source to power elevators and such. He's of course able to regrow every missing limb after a while, with clothes on somehow. But that's probably for the best. There's also an upgrade system, but the less said about that the better, it's kind of bad.
Morning, hon. Wakey, wakey. Rise and shine.
Throughout the game you're accompanied by Arcadia, who's Bryce's partner. She doesn't really do a whole lot in terms of gameplay, she helps to shoot demons and sometimes she gets downed. But that's about it. However, she doesn't get downed too often and reviving her is almost too easy, it never really bothered me. The only time she actually died and I got a game over was when I fell off the level and, I couldn't reach her. In terms of personality though, Arcadia is a bit of a cunt. She really likes to shoot Bryce. A lot.
What?
What the hell was that for?
What?
Though she becomes more likable throughout the game. Or it might be Stockholm Syndrome. Who knows? The game is split into 9 chapters, where you go to different areas to clear out demons. Each chapter is different from the last, so you won't get sick of seeing the same environments over and over. Unless you're IGN, of course. Although one chapter is simply just Arcadia's apartment, where you can mess around with her stuff. Like, that's kind of creepy. Every chapter excluding the apartment one is long, with many puzzles, enemies to fight, and ends in boss fights. There's also an online mode. Yeah, not much on that front. As for enemies, several reviewers complain about a lack of variety, and I just don't know what the hell they're talking about. Sure, this game doesn't have the biggest variety in the world, but it has enough, especially for a game that's not too long. Jim Sterling has the most absurd complaint about the game though, as he refers to bosses with penis-shaped noses and having to kill monsters by shooting them in the anus. However, unlike him, I actually played the game to completion and can safely say that neither of these are things in the game. The only thing in the game that could be confused with an anus is this boss, but if your anus looks like that, you might wanna see a doctor. But I digress. Most enemies die quickly from a good shortcut or two, but they all spawn infinitely out of something called a womb. This sounds fine in concept, but the wombs have 4 times more health than they should, which means that destroying them can take a long ass time. And while you're destroying it, it continuously spits out new enemies that will attack you and disarm you, literally, elongating the process even more. And of course there are multiple wombs per level, so yeah, that's fun. Speaking of dismemberment, Bryce doesn't actually have HP like most games, as he can't die. However, what he can do is lose limbs. I'm sure you've got onto that since I've mentioned it like 3 times already. And this happens a bit too easily in my opinion, and can be annoying when you suddenly have no arms to attack with, or when your body parts fly all over the room. Now it's a different story when you lose your body parts intentionally to solve puzzles and such, but when your only means to attack suddenly flies across the room, it's very annoying. For example, when you're just ahead, navigating the room to reconnect to the rest of your body is really slow. Plus it tends to get stuck underneath things. You can wait for a meter to fill up, allowing you to regenerate though, but again, it takes too long. Thankfully there are some bottles or something lying around that instantly recharges it. However, when you're just ahead, a creature called a grandbaby will come to try and eat you. If they do, and you fail the quick time event, you get a game over. Fun. Also, sometimes you fall apart again immediately after coming together again, and that's just super frustrating. The game, while looking really good, has some performance issues. The game aims for 30 FPS, which isn't ideal for an action-packed game like this, but it's playable. But when too many enemies are on screen and buildings are falling apart, this framerate quickly becomes a bit too cinematic for my taste. Plus the game has a huge screen tearing problem. Just look at this. There's also something a bit annoying about the camera, as it kind of speeds up after a second or two of turning the stick. It's really hard to explain, but just trust me on this one. So yeah, this game is a mixed bag. But you know what? I had a pretty good time with it despite of its flaws. And sure, there were times where I was frustrated and I felt like ripping my head off, but those moments are few and far between. So I think it's safe to say that a lot of critics didn't give this game a proper chance, instead just getting the review out there and getting their paychecks. Neverdead might not technically be a good game, but it's a pretty unique game with ideas I've never seen in any other game. And it's really cheap since no one likes this game, so all in all, I would recommend giving this game a shot if it seems like your thing. Thank you for watching.